Tonight on the Big Footy Blues podcast, we talk about the game against GWS, reminisce about our favourite Bombers memories, and preview this week's big clash at the MCG. All this and more coming right up. Good evening and welcome to the 10th episode of the Big Footy Blues podcast, or the 9th if you missed last week's apparently. With me as always is Odeon.
G'day Wookie, excitement in the air this week, mate.
Yes indeed, and devoid of caring.
Hello people.
and joining us again, and now one of our regular cast, is Just a Battler.
Evening all.
So, lads, I think we'll very quickly skate over the GWS game from the weekend, because we all want to get onto the good stuff. Carlton on the weekend on Saturday at Docklands defeated GWS 22-16, 148 to 8-6-54. For Carlton, Garlick kicked 4, Waite kicked 3, Yaron kicked 3, Arnfield, Menzel and Henderson, Arnfield kicked 2 each. And Gibbs, Curnow, Casbolt and Cruiser also got on the board for Carlton. The best were Walker, Garlett, Yaron, Cruiser, Gibbs and Armfield. How did we see the game, guys? And we'll start with Odeon.
It's just a showcase of Navy Blue skill, really. We beat them in the ruck. Cruiser had a very good game, and I was quite pleased with Casbolt supporting him, which raises more ruck questions, I guess. But Casbolt getting forward back and having a little bit of influence out there sort of pleased me no end. You already mentioned Garlett and Tui. Walker was BOG in my mind by a long way, and I was particularly happy to see a couple of party tricks from Dennis Armfield. He's growing from strength to strength every week. I'm really happy with that.
You mean growing a porn mo?
Oh, well, yeah, but he's growing a porn mo, but it's a very strong porn mo. He's growing from strength, yeah. And Brock McLean, I was just particularly noticing, we know about his work rate, but he's the first option. He's the smartest player on the field as far as putting himself in the right place for, especially for the kicks out of defence. He's very underrated in that regard, I think. But,
very slow too.
For somebody that's slow, he certainly gets to the right spots way before his opposition thinks about it.
What about positioning? What about you, Just a Battler? How did you see the game on the weekend?
I fully concur with all the comments Odeon made, and I was very impressed. McLean just gets better every game, I reckon. I got him very wrong last year. I thought he was too slow, past it, hopeless.
No, you weren't alone. There was
I don't like bagging players, and if I do, I usually get it right. And this guy has really, he does find space, and he does the stuff that really helps the team out. Quite often when everyone else is a bit down, he'll make that big run and find space and turn the whole thing around. So yeah, McLean was good. Walker was outstanding. I reckon he's in AA form at the moment as a half-back flanker or back pocket. Now, interesting thing for me was I think we've got a champion in the making in Menzel if his knee can stand the rigours of AFL. The guy can lay a tackle, kick a goal, keep up with anyone in terms of speed, and he's got a brain. He's got a football brain. It's just so obvious. He was better than, I reckon, any other GWS player of, the same level of experience. So I'm very happy with Menzel. And finally, I suppose, in terms of team structure, this is, I think, the second or third week in a row we've seen a bit of a rotation thing happening, where Henderson rotates through to centre half forward, switching with Casbolt. Casbolt rotates with Cruiser, switching up forward, and Casbolt goes into the ruck. So there's like a three-way tall rotation thing happening. That was the first thing. I think I've noticed that over the last 3 games as a new thing that Malthouse is doing. And the other thing is another little trick Malthouse seems to be pulling out is I've forgotten. Sorry, just it was on the tip of my tongue.
Amnesia, apparently, he's pulling out now.
Put it away, Mick. Put it away.
Yeah, I think definitely. You know, if you look at the first 3 games we played, it was like the players were reading from cue cards. You know, they weren't playing a natural sort of game. And I think Malthouse, I think, came out during the week and said, "Oh no, he's changed his plans. He's adapted to the team." And I think over the last few weeks, it's starting to
More
bear.
noticeable.
It's very noticeable. The blokes are playing a more free flowing game now. You can't get too excited. It was Greater Western Sydney, and let's not forget St Kilda towed us up. So, but I think we're getting a little bit better every week.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Doc, did you watch the game on the weekend at all?
I did get to watch it. I did.
Wow.
I don't really have any.
Hang on.
anything-
I think this is a first. Okay, go on.
Oh, geez. So you just stopped me mid. No, fine. I'm not going to bother talking about it now.
How did you see it, mate? Sorry, we're just not used to you watching the game.
I just get rudely interrupted. I'm out of here.
That's it. He's gone.
He's gone.
No, he's still there. He can't leave. He's obsessed.
Got questions for him later.
Yeah. Look, can I just add to that what just about said? I've noticed the same thing. I think in round 1, Mick being very rigid with us playing his boundary game and players not knowing it, I think it cost us 4 points. Mick made a lot of promises pre-season. Mixed messages really, where he said that we would play to our strengths. Then he said we'll be playing his game plan, and there's only one game plan. And I think he's as just about said, we've gone back to playing some of our old game plan, our rats plan, if you like. But with well, I made comment of this on the boards, with a lot of safety get out clauses, I guess, where we will head to the boundary if we don't have those open options down the corridor and anywhere else, and we'll create that contact, create a stoppage. So it is definitely a mixture, but where he has put his stamp on the game is in defence and putting the right bodies down there and the right amount of toughness and run. So kudos to him for recognising that he maybe didn't have the cattle to do what he did at Collingwood, and the Carlton's are different. We've got our different attributes.
Yeah.
We had a different type of cattle altogether, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say on what ODN said was that I think he admitted during the week, or someone wrote it in the forum, I thought it was quite telling, that whilst we didn't have the structure that capability that Collingwood has in certain ways, Collingwood didn't have the running capacity that Carlton has. So, I think he's trying to, find the right balance there, because he's realised, shit, these guys can run.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to say previously that I found really exciting, I love how he's pulled Judd and Murphy out of the constant inside game. And I think teams are very confused now how to match up on Judd and Murphy, because they'll drag the 2 best taggers out of the inside game.
And you can't leave them forward either, because they're quite dangerous up there. So
Correct. And I think that's a masterstroke, and I think it's paying dividends for us. Now, if people are saying Murphy's playing injured, I can't comment on that.
yeah,
But it's
I
working.
don't think he is. I just think he's in a patch of bad form at the moment. It happens, and we move on.
Everybody probably wants to bash the opposition team captain anyway.
Yeah. For me, my highlight of the weekend's game was Simon White. Had an appalling game to the point where he got subbed the week before, and just had an outstanding game on Saturday. I thought he was absolutely tremendous. I mean, all the other guys were great, but you guys all stole them for your highlights and mentions, and I thought I'll give a bit of a shout out to White, he really did play a tremendous game in his own right.
Yeah, redeemed himself, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Just he was strong at the ball.
I mean, be fair though, like that's the only one bad game he had.
It is.
True.
The other games he's been good.
No one was calling for him to be dropped or anything, which is good.
No,
But
that's good.
he was he was playing very well, and I thought that deserved a mention as well.
Fair point.
Yeah, no, but Menzel, great first game for the Blues, and he didn't do a knee, so that's great.
He's done one better than his brother.
Rellies, who apparently hurt themselves every time they set foot in the field. So, anything else you want to mention from the GWS game, guys, before we move on?
No.
No. Nothing about.
We've got much deeper midfield than we've ever had. Malthouse bringing on Karcher. Bell hasn't impressed as much as he did last year, but he hasn't been given a run of games either. But I reckon our midfield depth is better than last year, even though Carrick's has been out for a while. The guys have sort of stepped in, done a good job. Very happy with that.
I would suggest that Karcher is harder at the ball while doing the same job that Carrots does. And that may be heresy to some, but that's kind of what I'm known for.
I think he's a better field kick.
Look, I think he's harder at the ball. He might not be as good a tag, but he is...
Curnow is tagging brilliantly.
Isn't he?
He does not get the raps he deserves.
Most defensive players don't get the reps they deserve.
No, they never do.
No, he's playing really well for us.
All right, going to do the news. Optus will end a 20-year partnership with the Blues at the end of this season to focus on its core business. It will end its relationship with Football Federation Australia at the same time. Carlton is expected to welcome back a number of key players into this week's lineup, including Chris Judd, Kane Lucas, Robbie Warnock and Eddie Betts. Also note, for the first time this year, Andrew McInnes is listed as testing after a massive leg injury, so it is a fairly big return. This Friday is the 140th anniversary of the first Carlton v Essendon clash, dating back to June 7th, 1873. And congratulations to Heath Scotland, who will play his 200th game in a Carlton jumper this weekend and his 253rd overall. Finally, the Carlton Football Club advises that time is running out to make the most of its 3-game blockbuster membership offering games against Essendon and Collingwood in the next month. For more information, see the club website at www.imcarlton.com.au. That has been the Carlton News.
A huge pack of players. Waiting down in front was Rice. His kick is a puller. Straight to Wallace. The mean bad man. Can he cover himself in glory? He's lost it, and Murphy takes it away. The luck of the draw in a final. This is just an incredible comeback by the Carlton Football Club. They are into the grand final. Carlton is into the grand final.
We'll move into talking about this weekend's game. Essendon v Carlton, big one as always. Friday night at the MCG, live on TV right around the country. The head-to-head stats: we've played 237 times, won 121 of them, lost 111 and drawn 5, with a win percentage of 52.11. So even if we lose this week, which we won't, but if we do, we'll still be ahead of them overall. In the last 5 matches, we've won. In the last 6 matches, we've won 4, lost 1, and drawn 1, and that includes the 2011 elimination final. And last time we met, Carlton defeated Essendon by 96 points, 24-12, 156 to 8-12-60. So, guys, how are we seeing the game this weekend? Odin?
Okay, you want game or favourite memories?
Oh.
Sorry, you want to do this?
Favourite memories first, I think. Is you know me too well, Odin. You know me too well. Favourite memories of against Essendon, guys?
I think round 3 2001 is probably my favourite. And yes, I know the 1999 prelim and what it means. But round 3 2001, when we had the withdrawal of Allen, Silvani, Bradley, Cooter, all 3 of them very, very late, basically just before the game kicked off. And we kicked 6 goals in the last quarter, win by 17 with illustrious names such as Heath Colpett in the side and doing fairly well on the day. That was truly a win against the odds. And I've got one more. Back in, I think it was 1987, Waverley, Carlton won a game 70-69. And my lasting memories of Simon Madden and Justin Madden Justin butting Simon's chest and rubbing his head all over his chest and sort of leaning against him in the throw-ins and stuff like that, as was his wont, and eventually led to a couple of rules being changed. But I remember that game as just for the tension. I think it was a wet game, and Carlton holding on by 1 point. And it's funny. Salmon and Simon Madden won the ruck against Justin, basically playing a lone hand, 22-14, and they changed the ruck rules because of the absolute unsightly mess that because of Harry and it's weird. We see more than twice as many ruck contests ruining the game today. So that might be my memories of games between the two.
Relatively obscure ones at that. Just about. What about yours, Matt?
I hate them so much. The only good memories I have is whenever Carlton beats them. I despise everything about Essendon. I don't like their smarminess. I don't like their arrogance. I can't believe how that tosser was inducted in the Hall of Fame last night. Sorry.
The grass tosser.
You know who I'm talking about? That sniper.
Really? I didn't even pay attention to that. I should do because I've got to do AFL news later.
But you know, the round 4 last year, you got to say, they took the wind out of our sails, and I think the boys took a while to recover from that.
Yeah.
And it was great to smack them in the get back. My favourite memory was destroying them in the semi-final a few years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just.
By close to a record score for us in a final too. That was what was funny about it.
And yeah,
Apparently that was orgasmic.
The way they carry on big footy is if they've got the wood over us. I mean, good. They've beaten us once in the last 8 games.
Yeah.
For the last 4 wins we've had against them, we've averaged 152 to their 75.
Yeah.
Absolute shellacking.
Averaging more than 10 goal wins over them. Even the AFL website says that if we get a roll on, we're going to flog them.
Really?
Basically, yeah. So, yeah. My favourite... Well, sorry. Doc, what's your favourite, mate?
Oh, I've got no favourites.
Really?
Yeah. Last year when we flogged the shit out of... That's about it. That'll do.
Yeah.
My favourite, undoubtedly, and I know you touched on this earlier, but you didn't go there, it's got to be the 99 preliminary final. Just because they were so outright favourites for it, and we were so badly rated leading into the game. Like, having come from so far behind, having had to win so many finals to get to that point, we weren't rated at all, and to win that by the margin that we did, nothing beats it. Nothing.
Was eBay around back then?
What's that?
I mean, was eBay around back then? Because I think there was a lot of grand final tickets for sale that week.
For me, it was just they so obviously thought they were going to win. They were lined up. I mean, if you read back through the thread, there were people that went there straight from the game to get their grand final tickets, to find Essendon people kind of trudging off. I was in Adelaide by then, but that was pretty hilarious to read.
I actually saw that game.
It couldn't happen to nicer people.
Yeah.
It really couldn't. They were just so... They are so full of themselves at times that it really does amaze me how they get to that point. And yet they've got no reason to be. We're 3-3 in grand finals. We're 10-10 in finals against them. I mean, it's such an... And 16 grand finals each... Well, 16 premierships each overall. There's no... You know, the win percentage is negligibly different. 52.1% to us. I mean, they've got no reason for it.
My theory is Sheedy spinning for 20 years there, or 18 years, however long he was there.
Well, he never liked Robbie Walls, and
He doesn't like anybody except himself. He's a disgusting personality.
he's mellowed out a little bit lately, I think.
He had a go at Carlton.
It's because he drinks all the time.
He
He
had to
said,
go
"Oh, it's been a
Carlton.
long while since Carlton's been in semis." Yeah, 1 year, Goose.
Yeah, we played in one in 2-11 against the Eagles. Yeah. So, how are we seeing the actual game on the weekend, guys? Odian?
I mean, I'm expecting. Obviously, we've got Judd and Betts coming. You mentioned a few others last week. I'm not sure that we'll make that many changes. I'm not sure whether Lucas will come back in, and I know I'm expecting probably Menzel and Bell might get a rest this week, and Judd and Betts coming back in their place, and I'm thinking we need another tall. If you watched Essendon versus Sydney, they had 8 talls. Yeah. If you count Cremery.
Yeah.
And I think we had 6 if you count White, who plays tall a lot. And it's sort of a matter of whether we count on our speed. We count on the ball hitting the ground a lot and count on our speed, and them not having the replacement, or not having as many smalls as we do, and us running them off the feet. But we've known in the past it can go wrong for us if we don't carry at least one player as insurance.
Yeah, but then Eddie has done particularly well against Essendon over the years as well, and I expect him to be a definite return this weekend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm hearing that Hurley will be back. Some of them are calling for Danaher to be back. To play his first game.
Yeah.
The Great White Hope. Am I allowed to say that?
You can say whatever you like.
The Great Hope. Maybe
this is the Carlton podcast, mate.
As long as it's not the Great White
This is not
Line.
the more diplomatic main broadcast we have to do later.
But yeah, so whether that, I think they're at least going to have 8 talls, and I'm not sure who we can bring in. It's either Warnock coming back, or we're taking a chance on Hampson or Rowe.
I think Warnock will come back, and Casbolt will stay in the side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just concerned about what that does for our speed in the middle. I know that's probably what they will do, but
Casbolt had a pretty good game against the Bombers last time he played them.
Oh no, look, Casbolt for sure. I'd stick with that combination, Cruiser and Casbolt. And if they're going to have another one coming in, I think I would like to see Hampson rotating through with them, just a little bit more speed, does a little bit more around the ground. And I think it's been a total myth as far as the taps to advantage. I think we won the taps to advantage 16-8 with Cruiser and Casbolt. Giles is not too bad. Ruckman, he's up there in some of the stats. And I think the advantage we get from having a Warnock in the ruck does not offset the disadvantage around the ground. So there you go.
Well, that was shown by Casbolt playing a pretty good defensive game on the weekend too. So.
Yeah, look, I don't want to do all the talking. I just sort of like to open it up for the others too. But who do we think is going to take the forwards? Gumbleton, Hurley, and so forth, and Cremery.
I expect Henderson. I know he's played forward a bit this last couple of weeks, but we've had the luxury.
Stick back.
We've been able to do that against lesser teams, as it were. I don't think that'll happen against Essendon. I think there's no way he plays anywhere but defence this week. Same with Jamison. He pretty much stays in defence anyway. So, but between them, White, they'll have that all covered down there. I suspect. What about you, Jab? Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, for mine, they're tools if they get good service. They're a real danger. They get clean ball. So you work backwards and you say, well, number one danger man's Watson, who just plays champion football week in, week out. how do you stop Watson? Well, I reckon they'll rotate on him, and then the key give-offs from Watson are usually Zaharakis or Stanton. I think that the taggers will be negated by having them following Judd and Murphy around the place. They'll get sucked into that. And so stop Watson and stop Stanton. And I reckon they're the two key matchups in the centre. If we can sort of break even on that, their tools then get a bit negated up front. And in fact, if it is going to rain as they're predicting, their tools might, become a bit of a liability. In terms of our forwards, I think Goddard's made a huge difference to Essendon. I think he's added stability to their defensive structure. Him and Fletcher combine very well. It gives them two options. And the younger players have stepped up because they just feel more confident back there. But that being said, I don't think they can match our small firepower. So I think if we grind it down and play that spillage, occasional mark type football that we've been playing, we've probably got the slight edge up in their 50. But I think it really depends on stopping Watson and that successful drag out of a couple of their bigger body taggers. That's what I reckon Malthouse will be focusing on. Cramry's the guy that scares me the most in their forward line. I mean, the others can catch and kick, but I think Cramry last year destroyed us. He had a fantastic game. I'd hate to see him come out and play a game like that again.
Yeah.
He was everywhere.
Would you put Walker on him?
Well, he's the natural one matchup, isn't he? And I think Walker's got better lateral movement than Cramry. Cramry's kind of like a straight running type, whereas Walker can actually run sideways as well as straight. He's the natural matchup. I'm a bit worried about Warnock being played against Bell Chambers, because Bell Chambers is very mobile, and it's almost like Warnock feels like he only has to sort of operate within a 20-metre space around the goal, around the centre bounce.
Yeah, we don't need to start that discussion again.
Do you think you think though we'll go the different route? Do you think we need Cruiser in the middle just for the pressure acts and for the tackling ability? Because Essendon do play that sort of hard-bodied mid through the middle type of game a lot, and especially at the clearances.
Well, I would love to see this. I would love to see Warnock take the tap and Cruiser play the true tall, second tall ruck rover. And I think that's a weapon that can be unleashed at some stage during the season. I mean, that used to be actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but not an unusual thing in AFL footy, to have two tall guys in the centre.
I can't say I recall a time where it was a common thing.
But Cruiser's got the ability to actually play that roving role and to put some pressure on... who's that big boy tagger that always gives Juddy a hard time?
Hocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let him butt up against Cruiser. And that's why I'm not convinced Carazzo's an automatic in. Because I think Carrots is going to be short of a run.
He's listed as a weak still.
Is he?
So he's not going to be selected then?
He doesn't look like it.
Yeah. And the same reasons, I think it's a crucial game for a guy like Lucas. If he can step up, I was quite impressed with his previous game in the first quarter, but the heat's going to be on every player, especially in the first quarter. You can't have anyone that's not going to stick a tackle. So I think they go in as favourites, guys. Don't kid ourselves. Their form's been very good, and for good reasons. They're not soft like they were. They're not going to roll over like puppies like they did last year. They'll keep on playing the game through. So I can't see a blowout.
So how much do you think we're going to win by?
I reckon if we can neutralise Watson and Stanton, I say neutralise, in other words, break even, and not that Watson get out of clearances stuff. If we can just make that break even, I reckon we win by 2 or 3 goals max.
What about you, Doc? What do you reckon the margin will be?
I'll be a bit more serious this time. Actually, won't just say 50. I'll say, look, if exactly what Jab was on about, if we stop Watson and Stanton here, I'll say 30.
Okay, and what about you, ADM?
Yeah, I think somewhere around the 10-point mark.
Actually, let me just go on that. If it's raining as well,
If it's raining,
I'll say if it's raining as well, it'll be 30.
Yeah. I think around the 10-point mark, and I'm half expecting Gibbs to follow Goddard no matter which end of the ground he goes to, because as far as utilities go, they're it.
He's done it before and done it well, hasn't he?
Done a very good job. Yeah.
I think we've got the matchups for this. I think we've got the team for this, and I'm predicting if it rains, 21 points, as I do most weeks. If it doesn't rain, I'm predicting 80 points.
Really?
80 points. I think we're going to open them up like a cheap tin of sardines.
You said that about Lions and we didn't do it. So.
But it looked like we were going to up until the second quarter, mate. It looked like we were going to rip them to pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we
It's
collapsed in the second quarter, and it was like, what the hell? Anyway,
let's not underestimate the improvement in the boys this year. I think we're playing a much more honest brand of football and getting
it's a
better.
stronger brand of football.
I don't think we're quite as strong yet.
Defensively, stronger.
Honest footy. I'd love to see one of our younger blokes, I don't know, get a 6-week suspension breaking someone's jaw. That would be fantastic. Somebody like
mental.
Hopkins' jaw.
Play a game and get a suspension for 6 weeks. No. All right, it's time to move on. It's time for the segment that we've all been waiting for. As always, it's time for Ask Doc.
Get excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right, we've got some questions for him. That's a little bit of a shout out to ODM there. That, of course, is the original Doctor Who theme.
That's it.
From the 70s and 80s. So we do have some submitted questions for him this week, though, so I'm not having to make really hard ones up to just see him squirm. And the first one comes from none other than the Chief, the big man himself. And so he should actually be prepared for this one because he's actually seen this question.
I have.
And the question is,
and I'm not.
We all know that when you die, you poo your pants. If you had the chance to poo in the pants of someone else when you die, who would it be and why? So
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, people?
the age-old
You know I'm going to say
transferable
something
poo
terrible.
question. Who would it
Let's
be?
see, whose pants would I poo in? That's pretty much what we're saying here, right?
That's right. If you could,
All right.
right before you die, who would it be?
I'd have thought about this, and trying to figure out who do I hate that I poo in their pants. And I mean, it could be anybody. So,
It could be.
but I figured this one. I figured a lot of people would go along with this one actually and agree with me here. The Channel 7 commentary team for the football.
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere ranging from, boy oh boy, here comes Eddie, bloody, what's his face, BT. I'd poop in his pants every day of the week.
I imagine his pants would be rather
Luke
full on there.
Darcy.
I would poop in that netball wearing skirt homo Darcy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say that. You might have to edit that.
Love your work.
I'd like to point out this is where the podcast took a nasty downturn in quality.
It did,
What about
it
that
did.
Robbo bloke?
I would also go as far as to say I'd poop in the pants of Mr. Delicious himself, Bruce McAvaney.
And
Stick one in that guy's pie hole.
We'll move on to the second question again, submitted by a regular contributor, Space Cow.
Ooh, Space Cow. Okay.
What is the best way to get spaghetti stains out of underwear?
Poop it out.
Really have gone downhill here.
No, it's just Uh,
So,
Spaghetti stains in underwear. What are they doing there?
Oh, you know what they're doing there.
no,
presumably some sort of Lady and the Tramp style thing gone wrong.
Ooh.
nothing like sliding
What,
around
so-
a bowl of bolognese.
Wait, wasn't Lady and the Champ 2 dogs?
Maybe. I'm not really sure on the specifics of the story
Is it?
itself.
Is that right? Did I have that correct? What are dogs doing down your pants?
I don't know. I don't know. All
You
right.
say I went downhill.
That's...
So,
Where the hell are we?
All
What's
right.
going on?
We're going...
Where? I've just woken up and
Doc derailed
and,
things.
and,
yet
that,
again.
and that's
Hooray.
been a shocking segment.
one final question, guys.
Oh, yes.
Right now. Okay. Do we think we're going to win on Friday or what?
That's not really an ask dog question, is it?
No,
I do
no
think-
that's
Yes
logical.
or no?
Are we going to win?
Yeah.
Of course we're going to win. Well, yes.
Wookie,
Yes, we're
we're
going to
going
win.
to win.
Of course.
ODN.
yeah, we've already established that.
That's
Okay.
right. We already did the...
We're definitely going to win.
This is a must-win. This is a really important game. You guys understand that, yeah?
We understand as far as what it means and how gut wrenching it is when we lose these games. I don't want to go near big footy for days afterwards.
Yeah.
I can't stand to see an Essendon supporter happy in any way at all. May all the misery that the world has to offer be heaped on them for making poor choices in life.
I hope you're going to be more
Exactly.
diplomatic than this in the next half hour or so, OTN.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, guys. We're gonna cut our stock there. It's time for the last segment, and that's board talk. And ODN, I note the Sean Hampson thread lives on.
The Sean Hampson thread is still going. It's taken some nasty turns of late, but we've had a bit of a resurgence with the VFL game being televised and Hampson not doing too bad in that, and I'm finding a lot of the Hampson detractors are backing off a little bit and sort of wishing the big fella well,
Oh,
with just a little bit of constructive advice rather than completely bagging him out. So, yeah, I reckon I'm thinking that the battle is half won. We've just got to get him in the side now.
He was very good in the ruck. I'll say this much. I watched the whole game. I put some highlights together for it, but he was very good in the ruck. His kicking for goal let him down. I've got to say that much. He really did kick awfully for goal, but
Yeah.
his ruck work and his presenting as good as anybody else's in the side.
what's going on with the kicking at Carlton? I mean, Hampson used to be an okay kick. Cruz was an okay kick. Who's the kicking
To be fair,
coach?
Cruz hasn't missed by much, though. We did say this the other week that his goal kicking's been
Yeah, I know, but
close.
Casbolt, like, is anybody saying, look, Rocky, it's good to take the marks, but you've got to kick the goals, and this is how you do it.
Yeah, I don't know, but then again, I mean, who's going to show him down at Carlton? The old skipper himself wasn't the best kick at goal that we've ever seen,
No.
and
Well,
he
Breen's
kicked a
a
lot
good
of goals.
kick, wasn't he?
He did kick a lot of goals at Carlton, but they weren't the most flashy ones ever. So yeah, it's maybe we need to get someone down there to who isn't called Barker. And honestly, I cannot see ever since Matty Lappin left as our forward coach.
Yeah.
Our goal kicking has been woeful.
Well, getting back from Collingwood.
I wish he'd never gone. Then we wouldn't have to have that Hawthorn freak running around. Anyway, lads, it's been a good cast, but we have exceeded our allotted amount of time. So I'll say good night to ODM,
Good night, everybody. See you next week.
and good night to Justin Battler. Thanks for coming in again.
Night, everybody. See you next week.
And devoid of caring, as always, thanks for coming on, mate.
Good night, everybody. See you never.
And that's good night from
Oh, we wish.
devoid of caring is getting raptured
On that
after this.
note,
Don't get our hopes up.
All right, guys, and on that note, I shall see you all on the forums.
Yeah.
Play it to me, Wookie.